you're more focusing on the education, like you said, and understanding the principles, and then apply those principles to whatever vehicle you want to use to maybe build wealth. Maybe you're interested in real estate. Maybe you want to do e-commerce. It doesn't matter what you do to get to the wealth, but understand the principles and understand how money works. Would that be kind of a good summarizing?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all about education. I'm reminded of Napoleon and how he fought his wars, that he just kept winning and winning, winning, winning. Well, he would sit at the dinner table and would eat, but would be thinking about the battle and what he was going to do. That was kind of just bred in him. He was just that type of thinker. And so I endeavor to make sure that people realize, hey, when this is in you and this is second nature, you can look at a deal and go, no, don't like that one
Yeah.
because it doesn't match what you already know a deal should look like, right? And the same goes for paying off debt, So, and that's what I try to bring in to the teaching, that education aspect. If you know it, then it's second nature, like walking, like talking, and that's what we want people to get to.
I so agree with that. I think, just when you have something deep in your knowledge base, you can just have you can be very conversational with the topic. And if you really know it, you're not having to have I have a notepad here with if a thought comes to mind, I can note it down, but I'm not reading off a script. I'm a my 9 to 5 is a painting contractor. So if you ask me painting questions, I don't have to pull out something. I know it. I can just rattle off anything you need to know. I've been doing it for 20 years. I know it really well. And so for that is so true. If you understand the principles around something, you begin to recognize opportunity. I think it's in Think and Grow Rich. They even talk about, you know, like reading your goals and rehearsing kind of the things that you want. There's no real magic, in my opinion, of like just reading it. But I think it just puts it deep in the subconscious. So when those opportunities come up, you're able to jump on them quickly because you're aware of it. Would that be kind of what you're alluding to?
Yes, exactly, exactly. So, like when you're painting now, it wasn't like when you started out, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And so it is with paying off debt, so it is with looking at a deal, it's not gonna be like when you first start out. Of course, when you first start out, you're gonna have the bumps, you're gonna have the bruises, because you didn't know, but
Yep,
once you know, man, it is on to the break of dawn. So,
yeah.
yes.
So if let's say let's talk about a couple of different scenarios. So I'm a father. I have 2 kids, 19 and 15. So if you were talking to a young person, a lot of young men, both of our content's on YouTube a lot. So a lot of young men, it seems like the larger demographic on YouTube. And so if you were talking to a young person, man or woman, what would be some of the starting advice you would offer to help them be financially successful? Maybe they're starting from 0 with no debt, or maybe they've got some loans, maybe they got a car payment, a little bit of credit card debt where they went to college and, did XYZ. What is some of the, first principles that you would encourage people to really dive into?
Absolutely. So this part, I absolutely am a proponent of writing everything that you have down.
Yep.
Right. We live in the AI world now, and boy, it can be a humongous help, but it can also be a humongous hurt because it can be a crutch that perhaps can lead to some missteps. Let's say, okay. So what we want to do is we want to write everything down that we have: income, debt, expenses. Then we want to step back and say, all right, where can I classify? Okay, so put these expenses in classifications. There are four classifications of expenses. That is productive expenses. That's the insurance, different things like that. You want to protect your wealth. Okay,
Yep.
so the productive expenses are actually going to be investments. Okay, the productive expenses is investments. The protective expenses, that's going to be the insurance. All right, protecting the wealth. That's where the insurance lies in. And then what we're doing is we're classifying our lifestyle expenses. If you like beans and rice, that's good. If you're gonna do that and you're gonna wait until you're, I don't know, 90, 95 to go to Ruth's Chris, listen, there's no judgment from me, okay? But you don't have to do that, right? If you can go ahead and allocate for those lifestyle expenses and then destructive expenses. We want to classify those destructive expenses. And then we want those to be as low as possible or eliminate all of them. What are destructive expenses? Well, I mean, maybe the membership at the gym that you don't use. Maybe it's the book membership, or whatever membership that maybe you don't use. Hulu membership, maybe that's something that you can say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and take this cash flow and I'm gonna put it into a productive expense. And so once you start doing that, get in the habit of doing that, it'll become second nature. And you'll watch your savings or your checking account grow. And it'll be exponentially because someone is on the back end working that, whether it's an investment or a business.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, would that be kind of the equivalent of just budgeting, but not just budgeting, but also breaking that budget into categories so you can more productively see where you're spending your money and manage that? Would that be a good way of thinking about it?
Exactly. Plus, it gets people curious as to, why you do that.
Yeah,
you know and you can see the whole logic behind it is to get you inside of a mind frame where it does become second nature. Maybe a lot of people don't know about that, but once
yeah,
they know, it can become a part of them, and now they're classifying without even thinking about it. Oh, that's a destructive expense, we're not going to use that. Oh, that's a
yeah,
productive expense, let's do that. And
yeah.
then once you automate, so after you've done the four expenses, let's do some automation. Have you ever heard of like auto pay?
Oh, yeah,
Like you're paying, pay automatic. Well, listen, what's wrong with paying yourself?
yeah,
What's wrong with paying yourself? $50 a week. Guess what $50 a week adds up to? It adds up to two month that you have, and it's automatically coming to you. It's like
yeah,
you're paying yourself, right?
yeah,
And so what are you gonna do with that $200? Well, do you need a debt paid down that you're going to increase that cash flow? Well, let's go ahead and pay it down so that we can capture that cash flow.
yeah. When it comes to if you were talking to someone who maybe's already accumulated some debt, maybe they're starting career early in the career, what do you have any advice for people who are kind of seeking out help or advice for career direction? I do want to circle back to AI because I am interested in some of that. It's an inevitable kind of part of our life. It's going to be more so in the future, but just for a young person or maybe someone who's in the middle 40s, 50s, well, what thoughts do you have around career choicing or choice and how to kind of think through some of that?
Man, that's a great question. So, the career choice, I would automatically want people to be educated on getting ahead of the curve. We are in the middle of a humongous disruption.
Yeah,
But if you can get ahead of this, it would absolutely prove to benefit you not only in the short run, but in the long run, because it's not 1980 anymore.
yeah,
Okay. Now, 1960s, I mean, the landscape as far as careers have turned out, it's changed and it's
yeah,
changed dramatically. Perhaps you want to think about, hey, is an online business better for me, especially in the AI sector? Is that something that I see myself doing? What do I like to do? You can monetize that. I actually tease my wife and I'm like, hey, the first person that gives us any money, I mean, it can be 1 penny for this sour cream pound cake that I make, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it into a business. Because, when you have multiple streams of revenue, you start thinking differently. You're no longer, "Oh, man," you're no longer in the accumulation mindset. So keep in mind, you can have multiple streams, of income now,
yeah,
multiple streams. Because if you spend $200 maybe on a pair of J's or some shoes or a purse or whatever it is, right? then that $200 would be coming back the next month or the next week. It's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
So, think about those multiple streams of income that you can make money while you're sleeping.
Mhm.
Think about that. I would say as you're, going to work and you're thinking about your next career, the two things would be AI. How can I get ahead of that?
Yeah.
And then how can I get multiple streams of income?